Millions in line of punishing rain from Tropical Storm Barry. New Orleans APU people boarded up buildings, stocked up on water and braced for torrents of rain and punishing wind from a strengthening Tropical Storm Barry that threatened millions as it churned a path ashore and tested efforts to guard against flooding since Hurricane Katrina devastated New Orleans 14 years ago. Officials predicted it would make landfall Saturday morning near Morgan City as the first hurricane of the season, with the edges of the storm already lashing Louisiana with rain and leaving some coastal roads underwater. As dawn approached, though expected to be a weak hurricane, just barely over the 74 mph 119 km/h wind speed threshold, it threatened to across a swath of the Gulf Coast. The storm was expected late Friday night. Residents received good news from forecasters. The Mississippi River is expected to crest in New Orleans at about 17.1 feet (5.2 meters) on Monday, not 19 feet (5.8 meters) as had been earlier predicted. The levees protect. Governors declared emergencies in both states, and authorities took unprecedented precautions in around New Orleans. Government. John Bell Edward, My. Authorities told at least 10,000 people in exposed, low-lying areas along the Gulf Coast to leave UTAP, where officials urged residents to shelter. Before they did, people packed stores to stock up on bottled water, food, and other essentials. Lifelong New Orleans resident Terrence Williams grabbed supplies at a Costco, saying he has a few simple rules for big storms. Stock. Slideshow by Photo Services. Scott Daly, 55, maneuvered 2 shopping carts filled with bottled water, gallons of milk, and frozen meat at a Walmart in Lake Charles, in southwestern Louisiana. Iv. At least one couple scrapped their carefully planned Saturday wedding in favor of FAP. Forecasters said slow-moving Barry could unload 10 to 20 inches 25 to 50 centimeters of rain through Sunday across a swath of Louisiana that includes New Orleans and Baton Rouge, as well as southwestern Mississippi, with pockets in Louisiana getting 25 inches 63 centimeters. Workers also shored up and raised the levee system in places with beams, sheet metal, and other barriers. Rescue crews and about 3,000 National Guard troops were posted around Louisiana with boats, high-water vehicles and helicopters. President Donald Trump. The impending storm also triggered a legal spat between neighboring parishes. East Baton Rouge, scientists say global warming is responsible for more intense and more frequent storms and flooding, but without extensive study, they cannot directly link a single weather event to the changing climate. As showed the storm moving toward Chicago, arid water that must eventually flow south again. Before the worst of the storm, Casey Douglas and her 15-year-old son, Juan Causey, were among dozens filling sandbags at a fire station in Baton Rouge. She planned to use In New Orleans, a group of neighbors cleaned out the storm drains on their street. Working together to all over town, people parked their cars on the city's medians, referred to by locals as neutral. After Katrina was blamed for more than 1,800 deaths, by some estimates, the Army Corps of Engineers began a multi-billion-dollar hurricane protection system that isn't complete. The work included
raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.